IGN. Hey, IGN. Come here, IGN. Don't be scared. Just come over here. I need to tell you something, IGN. Fuck you, IGN. So what do we think about reskins, ladies and gentlemen? Pokemon? Yeah, yuck. Call of Duty? Yeah, yuck. I mean, apart from Modern Warfare 2. Dark Souls. Dark Souls. Delicious. Moist. Magnanimous. A big misconception people have about a Souls-like game from people who are put off by them is that they're just hard for the sake of being hard. But what I like about Souls-like games is it challenges you to get better and better each time. It's challenging, not hard. However, this is definitely not the biggest compliment I could give these games. Souls-like games are beautiful. They each have their own aesthetic and style to the landscapes that are completely unique to each other. Take Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Dark Souls, all made by the same developer, but yet each one have their own unique styles with magnificent landscapes that the developers put their heart and soul into. It makes you feel like you're literally walking around a painting. Very poetic, I know, but this is also accompanied by great music that complement the atmosphere, and Thymesia is no exception. The distinct tone of each level shifts and feels completely new to each other, with great maps and a unique greeny, grey or brown style that's also present within the combat visuals. And the combat itself is damn sexy to watch, I ain't gonna lie. Upon observation, there are definitely similarities between this and Bloodborne, with a big difference being a pause button. Yes, boys and girls, you can pause. But at the same time, it feels like a completely new game, and one that could have been developed by From Software themselves, so that alone already makes me love this game. I will say it's not as hard as the Dark Souls games, however it's still definitely challenging and earns its Souls-like genre, especially when you get to the first boss fight. Visuals aside, the combat mechanics itself is extremely well done and very responsive. I used my controller and found no problems with reaction time or key mapping. They have taken the Souls formula and spiced it up. When you damage an enemy, their HP is affected as usual, but they've added a wound mechanic that's symbolized by a green line on the health bar. This additional bar can only go down when you strike the enemies with your claw, a secondary attack that only affects wounds. So if you use this secondary attack on an enemy on full health, it will do no damage. I thought this sounded strange at first, however upon finally playing it, I truly realized how unique and enjoyable this was. If you take too long to deal wound damage, the wounds heal, and if you're not regularly using your claw, you could have a boss fight with little health left, going all the way back to full health if it hasn't taken wound damage. I will mention, when I first saw the level up system where your only attributes to level up were strength, vitality and plague, I was taken back and thought this was too simple. However, there are definitely upsides to the system that I can see. It really makes me want a more balanced character in this game compared to Dark Souls, where I just went with a dex, strength or magic build because plague, vitality and strength had their own unique role to play, and it's vital in combat to have all of these. Obviously, health is health and you want a decent amount of that, but if you level up your strength without leveling up your plague, which determines the wound damage of your character, you'll definitely be taking way too long chipping away at the wounds. Although I feel like this encourages people to balance out their character, it can definitely be seen as a more narrow attribute system. I personally would have liked more variety, however, where the character leveling system shines the most is the talents you can unlock. Saber, Deflect, Dodge, Claw, Feather and Strategies all have their own skill trees that you can spend talent points on. Some adding new moves, increasing or decreasing damage, an extra dodge or extra feathers, or even random quirks you can attain in the strategy skill tree. Some of these are thought out so well and become very useful through your adventure that complements your playstyle. I personally didn't use feathers or deflection all that much, so I spent all my talent points on dodge and saber lightsaber, and I absolutely love that this is their own way of creating a unique gameplay experience without relying on the generic point system that we have with all of the Souls-like games pretty much. They made a skill tree in a Souls-like game and also made it work. Although there's many things that I love about this game, enough for me to recommend it to literally everyone, there are definitely things which disappointed me in many ways. The bosses were definitely a challenge, but when they went into their second phase, they weren't all that different than the first. They usually just threw a random move to spice things up, but they just performed it once or twice until you beat them. The boss designs, on the other hand, were visually orgasmic, my brochicho, and the methodical fight you have between them is a visual masterpiece. The very first big boss you come up against is by far the best designed in my opinion, and made me really appreciate this game as much as I do. I won't spoil the story or the final boss in this game, but how the fuck did they manage to outdo Elden Ring with what they did? Good job. Good job. Another downside that I need to touch on is the game's simply too short. I was having a fucking blast from the beginning to the end, having the time of my life, and then when they said, "Are you ready to go to your final destination?" I was like, what the fuck? I was kind of upset because, no, I'm not ready. I want more. It's not the price of a full-priced game, however I'm always disappointed by short games, especially if they're great. But all in all, this is a must-get game for people who enjoy the Souls formula, with fucking beautiful combat, scenery and music that'll scratch that From Software itch we all have until the next game arrives. My final verdict for this is a solid 8 out of 10, and honestly it would have been a lot better. It could have been a 9 or a 10 if it was longer, if there were more bosses, more locations. However, with what we had, I think it was a good game and something that you should grab. However, that's it for this video, kind of a short one. If you enjoyed this video or I introduced you to something that you might grab, be sure to leave a like or subscribe. I'd appreciate it very much, but yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much. I'll catch you in the next episode. As always, stay safe, stay sexy, stay humble. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Suck your nipple.